You good?
Yeah, your phone.
I don't have my phone.
I put mine on the side.
Yes,
Mine
vibrate
is
and.
Yeah, it may
vibrate.
vibrate. Yeah, either on the floor or
It's
something.
on silent.
All right, are we on? We on live on Facebook. Amadou, we good to go. All right. Actually, it's still morning. Actually, is this still? Oh, Amadou,
Yeah.
you need to change the clock. Good morning, dear African Leadership Group community members and Colorado communities. Papa Jah here, founder and executive director of the African Leadership Group. It's truly an honor and a pleasure to be back with you, as we always do every Monday, with the crew that we have here, Amadou Dieng, media strategist, and Professor Madiama in the room. But we also have a special guest with us, a partner, Keto Radio Companies. Thank you so much for joining us, and look forward to the partnership and collaboration working to improve our community. We have a very important topic for you today. But before we dive deep into the topic, as you know, every Monday when we do this, Amadou has to take us somewhere with some cultural music. So Amadou, where are you taking us today? We are going to Ivory Coast in honor of who?
Pascale, Adou.
Yes, so we have Pascale Adou, a sister from Ivory Coast.
Have your flag for your meal.
Yes,
Thank you.
so Pascale was arguing that we don't have the Ivorian flag, but today we have the Nigerian in representation of our friend Tayo. Especially we're talking about election, we have to have the United States flag. And this is where I'm being selfish and putting the Senegalese flag every Monday when we have it here. So Amadou, who's the singer? What's the name of the singer, and how people dance this and all that stuff?
So, this party is
Coupe décalé.
Yep.
Familiar with the coupe
I
décalé?
know that's the dance bug. Been involved for 2 years.
Great, great.
And 10 years. Like it. Thank you, Amadou.
Very good. As you can see, we have a panel a little bit unusual because usually we have 1 or 2 guest speakers, but today we have 3 guest speakers, and I'm very, very excited about this conversation for many reasons. First and foremost, because we have the representation of our own community, and it's me. We got to hear from people from our community, and the second thing that really get me so excited about it is the topic. What are we talking about? The election. As we know, today is Monday, November 2nd. Tomorrow will be Tuesday, November 3rd, which is a very big day for the United States of America. So without further ado, we're going to dive deep into it. So I'm going to ask our guest speakers to introduce themselves and say something in their native language, but also tell them what role they play into the organization, and overall, what do they think about the African Leadership Group as an organization. As you know, we got to start with our own sister, the ladies in the house. As we say, we always say, the woman rules the world, right?
That's
So
right.
Pascale, please, thank you so much for being with us. Please introduce yourself to the community and your role within the organization, and what does this organization represent for you?
Thank you so much, everyone, and thank you for joining us Monday. Like nobody likes this kind of thing. So some of you might know me. My name is Adou, married name. I'm an Ivorian. Mentioning that I don't have my flag here, what's going on in my country. But that's fine. I still pray for my country. So for all the Ivorians, so much. Let's keep praying till we get the right democracy. So I've been with ALG almost 7 years now, and my role here, I'm a part of the health wellness committee here with ALG, which it's not a surprise because I've been a healthcare worker. So we've been doing such great work with ALG, and what I like about this organization is it brings all the Africa together. We all see each other with ALG. We all see our country. We want changes. We want so many, like you feel like family, like Papa used to say. Once you just come to one ALG event, you're already a part of a family. You don't need to sign up to be a part of ALG. This is what I like. We all family from every different countries, Nigeria, Eritrea, Senegal, this different language, like from Nigeria, English, girlfriend, I because this has language, they have a we connect easily because you see your people for the same with the same purpose. We want to grow here in this country.
So what do you say in French to the fellow Ivoirian and French spoken that speaking that's watching us? Something in French.
Something in French, I can just tell them bonjour à toute la communauté ivoirienne et comme je vous l'ai dit, nous sommes ensemble, like we together. Ensemble.
Merci,
Yes.
merci. Thank you so much. I'm going to turn to my left, Tayo, a brother, a friend of mine that's very familiar to the community. If you can just introduce yourself and the role you play in the organization.
Well, thank you, Papa. And I'm going to be speaking through this mass, so hopefully I'm doing my part. Colorado, right? I appreciate you inviting me on this live event. As you briefly alluded to, I'm from Nigeria. I was born and raised in Ile-Ife. And to all my Yoruba people, Karo, Kabo. Very excited to have you out there. And as far as my role with ALG, so I've been involved with ALG now, I think probably, I don't even know when.
2 years now.
2 years.
2 years.
And I do a lot of the legal clinic, right? So I'm the chair of the legal clinic. And as that, we organize some free clinic events as well as some events geared around the legal. So we get volunteers to help out, help our community, ALG. One thing, I mean, there's a lot of things I like about ALG. Obviously, I mean, I like the guy that's running, right? So, but one of the things that I do like about it is how it brings not only, as Ms. Pascale said, not only the different communities, but also the different business, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, it showcases a lot of what Africa, right? So we have engineers, we have nurses, we have doctors, we have lawyers, and we have people in the community that do every single work. So for me, that's exciting to see that, and that's why I like part of it. Can't wait to have a conversation about voting. So thank you for having me.
Well, thank you, Tayo. You've been truly a blessing to the entire community, and we thank you, brother. Thank you. And to my far right, I have my own and dear brother, Fesehaye Abrhaley, but that goes by Fish. Fish, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Papa. I am so honored and blessed to be part of this discussion today. I came in the middle of my work day, even close my staff meeting at 11 o'clock. So to be here,
thank you.
You can tell how important ALG is to me as a person. You know, I'm from Eritrea, originally born and raised. Came to the U.S. for a great opportunity to go to school, and my dream is happening. But I met Papa Dia, the magnate of ALG. That's his nickname. You know, he's a people-oriented, solution-oriented, helping the community. So I think it was 14 years ago or 15 years ago, we met in a cell phone store. I remember the date and even the time, and Mulek introduced me the right guy, the right time, with a vision of ALG, the vision to help people in the economic, education, and social aspect of the community, the diaspora, create a bridge between the African diaspora and the American. ALG, the name is misleading. Actually, it looks like only represents the African. No, it represents every kind of people. And I've been honored to serve as a board of directors for that many years. And then right now I have a new assignment, which is deep down into my heart, Leadership Africa. We have that. Even he gave me the, the brochure. People, if you are into the leadership, if you are going to make a difference, an impact into your community, come to ALG. There is public speaking. There is so many activities, youth activities, women activities, and Leadership Africa is also another big activity that we are going to bring people into power, into the leadership, into the decision makers. So it is a serious program, and it represents the whole African country, as my brothers and sisters said, not just individual countries in Africa, but we're trying to bring the whole Africans together. The mentality of coming together, working together, make a difference in your community and in your continent back home, that we are lacking leadership in Africa.
Great.
That's the main problem.
Something in Amharic or the language?
Well, in
Yes.
Tigrinya,
In
actually,
Tigrinya, yes.
salam kami lahum برخات إرتراويان دقت نبرو برحقن بقربان shalom salam تباركوا.
Thank you. That's the beauty of the African Leadership Group, as you can see. But let me kind of set up the framework. What we want to achieve today, this platform, is to educate our own community, but also to educate the American citizen to have a better understanding of the African immigrant perspective when it comes to election. So my first question to all of you, what does it mean to you as an African immigrant that also U.S. citizen and having the opportunity to cast your vote on November 3rd, or already cast your vote through the mail? What does that responsibility represent and mean to you? I'll start with you.
Well, thank you, Papa. And a little bit about my story, right? I came to the U.S. was 13 years old. Okay, so I wasn't able to vote. I became a citizen in 2006, and I actually didn't cast the first vote in 2008. Okay. For me, the wave at the time, as you can imagine, is Barack Obama national election. I actually had a youth. And so for me, the excitement was there. That got me interested in issues, topics. I think casting a vote, you get your voice first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, one person may not change it, but at the same time, one plus many voices is what. So not only do you get to cast a vote on the national stage, what's more important too is that your voice is open, right? So there's a lot of, as we're going to be delving into in a minute, there are lots of topic issues revolving tax, school, health, wellness that are on the ballot, right? It's important to have a important to be able to say, yes, this is how I want to, that is how I want to. It's important and part of the process, right? This is a democratic process. So for me, it's important to play my part in the process, move the democracy.
Good. Thank you. Well said. Play your part in the process, move the democracy forward. Pascale, what does it mean to you to be in a position as an African immigrant that has a U.S. citizenship to be able to vote as well?
I thought about it a lot because, which is great today, it's my first time voting here, so I was very excited to that because I felt like that's the year that we need to go as friends, living in this country because, working in healthcare, healthcare workers have been, neglected, like I said. So for me, this vote shape our communities, because healthcare workers, you need to go and vote. No matter where you come from, no matter where you are, is take here, because you need to put people, leaders that can that just have where you need to have people that be healthcare. You cannot be in a healthcare system not be able to have health. Like the American citizens, some of them don't have any help. People are dying in the house because they're scared to go to the hospital, because they're scared to have these hospital bills come back to them and not be able to afford to pay for. They can't even afford to leave and then pay for, also excruciating, healthcare bill. So that's what they to vote to change the inequality of the
As you can see, you can definitely see Pascale passion when it comes to healthcare, and we'll come back to it and talk
Yes.
more in details about it. Fesehaye, as somebody from Eritrea that came here, went to school, and worked as an engineer, what does it represent to you to be in a position to cast your vote?
Yeah, when you say vote is not actually, let's start with vote, mean what it means. It is a right. It's not a gift. So people need to know what is their right and then what do they do with it. So it is voting means if it is your right, a right to do what? A right to show what are your guiding principles. How do you guide yourself? First off, you have to have a guiding principle, that core principles that you stand for. How you're going to lead yourself, your life, your future, your generation. So it's very important to vote on leaders, to vote on legislation, amendment, we'll talk about them. So you have to know your right first, the importance and the meaning of vote mean. So use your right to guide yourself, to guide your family, to guide your generation for the future. So we need to understand as an immigrant community, what are our rights? What are our rights, and then what do we do with them? How do we use them? It's not just working, try to be successful. What's the meaning of success? If you don't use your vote, right to, you have to have a guiding principle, and that guiding principle starts using your right to vote for leaders or for legislations or for decision makers or for any thing that is out there that brings an impact in your life. Economic, it could be social, it could be education, which is an important element in your life, day-to-day life. So it's very important, and we have to use it the right.
Thank you, Fish.
And also, too, let me add something to that, because as we all know that elections have conflict,
Yes.
right? I mean, we've seen that on the national stage and on the local stage. And so, as Fish is saying, we want to be involved in how those conflicts affect us, affect our generation, affect our kids, affect our family, whether here or even back home with respect to immigration. So it's important that we know that yes, whether you vote or not, elections happen. So you have to be in that room, that space to exercise your right.
Thank you, Tayo. And if you just tune in, you are with the African Leadership Group Weekly Update. And today we're talking about a very important topic. It is vote. And we have our sister Pascale from Ivory Coast, Fish from Eritrea, and Tayo from Nigeria. So I'm going to come back to you, to Pascale, and ask this question. Because we have so much to talk about, then I'm not going to ask the same question to all of you guys, because we have a lot to talk about. So I want to ask you then, for those of us that came from an environment in Africa where we felt like our vote does not matter. Okay? Because we came from an environment where usually either we vote or no, it doesn't change the course of the election. And the reality is, even in Africa, in some country, we are dealing with something like that. What message do you have, if you can look into the camera and talk to the fellow African immigrants that have citizenship but still believe that the vote won't matter and they won't cast the vote tomorrow?
You know what, Papa, I'm so happy to ask a question of what's going on in dealing about anti-election. And we are not scared for our vote, put our vote there. Like Fish was saying, vote is your right. Not enough. Go out and vote because they're scared to be killed, scared because they are not in the same political party as others. which we're dealing with. Sorry, but I'm being emotional. Because I don't right. It is right here. You have the right to vote. You have the right to choose the person that's for your value. What's your value? Think about it. What do you want to see in this country? Because you came here and you had a privilege to be able to cast your vote, which we don't have it in Africa. So that's the value. Think about what the African community are dealing with right now. 20 someday now, go out, stay in your house, say, oh, I'm a citizen, and I'm not, I don't care about this election because it doesn't affect me. It sure does affect you. It affects your family here. It affects your children. Think about their education. Think about your health. Because some of us don't even have access to great health care, quality health care. So go out, vote. This is your right. Your voice needs to be heard. And your voice needs to be heard in by putting your ballot to the drop box. If you didn't have, or is the last thing, vote.
Very good. Well said. Well said. Tayo, I'm going to come to you. And we haven't still dived deep into everything that's in the ballot, but I want to just put the framework to inform and educate our community out there. Now, for somebody that just gets their citizenship and they're casting their vote for the first time, what advice do you have for them? What could be the right process when it comes to doing the research, who to vote for, how would they go about it?
Thank you, Papa. That's a good question. I mean, so it could be overwhelming, right, in terms of not only the people that you have to vote for, but the issues that you have to vote on. One of the things that Colorado does, and I think Fish brought up, called the Blue Book. Okay, every registered voter in Colorado gets call it. In there, it includes all the amendments, all the initiatives that are valid. Some of them might not be in your jurisdiction. So, for example, if Arapahoe or Denver, you may not get all of them. But you can see what the initiative is. In addition to that, there's a number of online resources. The League of Women Voters, for example, one of the ones that my wife. But then also there's the Colorado Secretary of State. So in Colorado, the Secretary of State, in most states, the Secretary of State is responsible for the vote. And so they have information on their website. If you go to sos.state.co.us, they're frequently asked questions or FAQ about voting prior to voting, who qualifies for voting, and then also the initiatives that are being put on the table in the whole state of Colorado. Okay. If you have questions, you can read the text, the measure, and then you can read who's for it, who's against it, or the argument, things like that. So I think it's really important to not only know what's on the ballot, really understand it, right? For example, we've got looking at initiative number 306, Proposition 15, right, about deduction of state tax. How's that going to impact? You need to know that before you cast your vote. It's important to do that so that you know that you're voting the right way. You're all saying you're voting the way that you're valued. So there's a lot of information, places to look for. It's important to get informed before you.
Well said, well said. And the African Leadership Group is another platform if you need to be connected with the Secretary of State or any other resources out there. Feel free to reach out to us. But again, just want to remind everybody, as an organization, we are a non-partisan organization. We're not Republican, we're not Democrat, we are just for the best interest of the community. We're all about creating the platform for members of the community to be informed, educated, identify resources, and go cast their vote for whoever they believe will represent them very well. So Fish, I'm going to come to you and ask this question. I've been in this country for 22 years, and I've never seen the country to be this divided. I mean, I've just never seen it, where the Republican pulling this way, the Democrat pulling this way, where, I mean, some of the most nasty things are being. So I want you to talk to members of our community. What could be their position when it comes to how divided we are and how this political party are trying to use members of our community in this ugly process?
That's a wonderful question. And I am sick into my heart on that kind of division. You know, that's why ALG stands. I stand on the independent part of it. Because there are two extremes. You can go to the Republican, you can go to the Democrat. In my case, for example, I cannot be Republican, I cannot be Democrat. Because they are two extremes. One hates, and that I cannot hate anyone. I may not agree with their principle, with their stand, but I am not supposed to hate. I'm called to love people as a human being first. Second, if you go to the Democrat, they will promise you so many things that they will give you food stamps, they will give you so and so, and then they will make you like handicapped, to be honest. That I believe in hard work, core principles that I have. Believe in God first, family, and then work. I have to have God, I have everything. I have family, I have to love, like ALG is one family member, like the whole African. And then I go to Eritrea and I go to my household. That's how it goes. And then I have to work hard. I believe in hard-working mentality, so I can feed my family and then support my community if I stand. So back to your question, the dividing. You need to know what is dividing us. What are the principles that divide us? What are the truths about those dividing elements? There are so many social media. There are so many bad hate aspects of people or organizations that are out there. We need to identify what is true and what is false. We shouldn't grab everything what is said. And we have to have also an identity. Where do we stand ourselves? We need to do our homework, not just to be spoon-fed from some organizations or political figures. They are going to say whatever it takes, or they're going to do whatever it takes to get elected to come into power. The selfishness, the greediness is out there. We should know the reality. We should know the truth. And then evaluate ourselves. Evaluate ourselves not just for us right now, but for our generation, for the future.
Yeah.
It's very scary out there. We need to know what is the true elements of those leaders to be elected, and what is something bad out there that is said about them. And where do they stand? They need to be accountable. They need to be responsible. They are not going to take us for granted. Because the mentality that we have as an immigrant is, my vote doesn't count. I just need to work. Nobody is going to care if I vote or not. No. You have to care yourself. For yourself first. Use your right, as I said before. And vote. Spend time to know the truth. And then guide yourself by the truth. Not by your emotions.
Yeah.
It's very important element that we need to identify. And you have to be, you don't need to be the catalyst to create the division. You have to bring people together.
That's
what
right.
makes us to come together? That we can work together. We shouldn't just, talk something that is going to, divide us.
Yeah.
So I have to see the good stuff in you if I'm going to work with you. But if I just pick the bad stuff about you, we're not going to come together, and we are not going to work together.
Well said, Fish, and you definitely could see that he spoke from his heart. And as African immigrant, let's focus on truth. Let's focus on representing the value of human being first. Now, I don't think it would be fair to have a woman on the platform and not get the woman's perspective when it comes to this process. And I want to ask you, as a mother and members of the community, what could be or what should be the woman's perspective? Because I know from Africa, a woman in our culture, in our society, is always women stay home. They're not very involved into the election process and the leadership process. But in this current environment that we are in, what could be the position of our mothers, of our sisters, and of our daughters?
What I said earlier, as a woman, like I said here, we be involved, and we stand for our values. Okay, for example, as our mother, as we deal with it next, our mother, we think maybe they put down. We don't understand the system. So us, we as leaders, we just have to put them in them. You know what? Your vote counts, because think about your daughter. Think about yourself when you get sick. Like, I'm just gonna go with book about the 180, which is very important for me. Is it take family, you know, because some here in Colorado, it's not everybody has the privilege to get sick leave. They have a family that's sick. You have a mother that gets sick. But you can take time off because your employer doesn't give you that privilege. So what can you do? You're not gonna leave your mother stay home and without any supervision, die just because you have to work. I understand what you have to work, but this is the most valuable thing for us. We like to take care of our family. We have to take care. We have to be there with them because that's how we feel like the love, the importance of family in our community. That if you take care of your mother, it's like you let her down. You can take care of your children, you let them down. I've spoke to one of the healthcare workers. Her son has stage 4 cancer, and this poor woman, she's in Africa. She asked to be home with another state with her son, but her employer refused, even though she was working from home already. She can't leave the state because they wanted to be here for son is dying. Cannot be with when it's last heartbroken. So as a woman, a mother, a wife, I want to have a right to be at home when my kid. That's why I urge people to vote yes for Proposition 180, because it allows us to get paid sick, 12 weeks of paid and family leave when needed. It's not because you're like, oh, my son has a headache, I just take a week. No, you need to take care. You need to have some value. You need to stand for. You want to vote. But thinking about, okay, the Democratic Party and Republican, no. Think about what stands for you. Even if you're Republican, even if you're Democrat, what do you see? What value do you see in those two candidates? I can just tell you, I'm a Democrat. I know people think Democrats allow people to be lazy. No, I'm a hard-working woman. I work hard. We all work hard here. I need to know what you want to teach to your children. You're not going to have the children to stay home and be lazy and not being able to work. There's a system out there that needs to be correct. It doesn't mean all these good things around that. It's important.
Very good. Very good. Well, thank you so much, Pascale. And now we're going to dive deep into the ballot. And now the tough questions are coming. I am hoping that we all here are going to assume our party affiliation and who we vote for and why, and who we didn't vote for and why. That's what I'm hoping. Because the reason of this platform is not only to inform and educate members of our community, but also to inform and educate elected officials, because they need to know if they did not get your vote, why, and for them, hopefully, to hear that message and willing to work on it. So, but that's what I'm hoping, but I'll leave it at your discussion area, but I'm hoping that we will just assume our position. So, Tayo, I'm going to start with you, and I'm going to start with the presidential ballot.
Right?
You already casted your vote. Let's start with, is there anything on presidential Trump plan that you like or you don't like? Is there anything on presidential candidate Biden that you like? And who did you vote for and why?
Wow. Okay. Way to throw me under the bus there, Mr. Papa. No, listen, that's a very important consideration. I think to start off with, though, one of the important things about voting in the U.S., cast your ballot.
Yes.
Now, aside from that, we're on a show, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, with respect to the candidates, the national, I'm going to avoid your question. One of the things, as a general, one of the things that I've always been passionate about is governing. Okay. Now, it doesn't necessarily translate in policies, but recently we've seen that a lot of the immigration policy, a lot of them through, stroke of the pen, president. In addition to that, that's one of the things that I sort of disagree with the way that laws, right? Now, you can have a debate as to whether it's legal or not legal, but again, it's just about that. Then the bound. Now, every president, they'll tell you, they either want to expand presidential power. Started with Bush, and even way before that. What we've seen with Trump is through these executive orders, as further than anybody else. And so, one of those things that I would like that to be a little bit reined in, because we do have this separation of powers, right? We have the and then we have the president. So I think the way that he's going about it, with respect to those orders, that's fine. With respect to Biden, one of the things that I really like about him, as I said, as a general, just his ability, I think, that issues that are tough, racial issues, the community issues really increasing. That sort of thing. So that's important in our country, right? So I think Biden is going to have wherewithal to at least talk to a lot of the different, come up with something that works. Now, is it going to be the perfect plan? Probably. There's going to be loopholes. There's going to be there's going to be lawsuits, things like that. So that's on one end. The other end, as Pascale has mentioned, one of the important, nobody has a, especially for, I think though that not for what's up there, not have any. I think that just without any plan. And so I think me, Biden is a leader that does. Lastly, and I'll let you go on, is the issue about how America is viewed. Okay. As we all know, America was built on the idea of immigrants. People in have the Native Americans already, but the vast majority of current population who are just prior state. So I think the idea that we're going to close off our borders now, I think to me is it's something that weighs a lot. Obviously, we have to do it. We have to do it, but guidelines, things that are in place to protect. But that's where my weighs more.
Well said. And you can definitely see that Tayo did not cast his vote based on party affiliation. There are some policies that he looked into, some values and things like that. So Fish, I'm going to come to you. I know you are an independent registered voter. So the same question goes to you. You know, who did you vote for and why did you vote for whoever you vote for?
Yeah, that's an important question. You know, we had a discussion with my 14-year-old son, my 16-year-old daughter, and 17-year-old daughter, and my wife yesterday. A very heated discussion in the house. They asked me, who are you going to vote? I'm still, you know, weighing in. I'm still trying to figure out. I have the inclination based on my core principle, as I said before. God comes first, and then family, and then work. So those three aspects, they are core principles. And then I align my vote based on the three core principles. If somebody, you go to Trump, for example, I have, my face is number one. Little bit, to some extent, if he aligns with the faith-based principles that he has, he gives freedom to faith-based organization. And so he aligns on that, on the judicial appointment. Also, when he appoints those, it aligns with my faith, the way I believe and guide myself, and I vote. The other scary part about Trump, you know, as Tayo mentioned, you don't lead by your emotions or by your, you know, so many things. Character is very important in leadership. And then you put legislation based on that. He's a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, so he knows what I'm talking about. And so character is very important. What kind of character do you have when you decide about future generation, about current generation? You just know you're not going to be emotional and strike with a pen and decide about the future of our country, the future of our kids in here. I'm very scared on that when it comes to the economic aspect of the country sometimes. You know, the tax cut for the rich, and the system is very complicated, to be honest with you. It's very complicated and rigged. It's not easy to understand like in a simple article or in a website that you can explain. I have been here 23 years and still there are so many things that bothers me. The system is for the rich and for even the white or the minorities. They don't have, you know, the right or in a principled way. I'm not whining and complaining. This is a land of opportunity. And Tayo mentioned, this country is built in a land of opportunity. It's when you are here. It could be grandparents or grand-grandparents that they have been here, but you're still an immigrant. It's a land of opportunity. You cannot claim the only American. We are all American. And then we have to abide by the same rules. So the way you treat people, the way you see people in equality as a human being first. And the immigration aspect of that is very important. When you give people, the opportunity to come to the U.S. and excel in life. Yes, you have to abide by the rules and regulations, but you don't have to do it like dividing children from their parents and mother, a small 5-year-old, 6-year-old girl or a boy. That bothers me deep into my core. Those are the things that bothers me when somebody as a president can come and then he doesn't even care when he talks about it. When it comes to Biden, as Tayo said, he's somebody who can bring together. He's been in public figure like for 47 years. When you see him, he's a family oriented. as a single dad. He raised his kid when he lost his first wife, and he lost his son. You can see recently, even he couldn't run last time. So he has a family value and core value that the love and bring together kind of mentality. The healing, you ask me the question, the division, the hate we have in this country. We need somebody who can heal the whole country. Of course, God is the one who can heal, but God can use people and the president.
Yeah.
So
let me ask you this follow-up question now. You choose not to vote by mail. You choose to walk in tomorrow and cast your vote. Why?
Well, it's very important because I have sometimes...
You don't trust the system, or what's
No,
going on?
I trust the system, but there is also, they are going to be in court, like after November 3rd. You can see this is going to be worse than Bush and Al Gore election. I am expecting, hopefully people, I'm not trying to scare people, but they expect the reality. Because if you mail it through UPS or USPS, postal service, or if you do drive-through, there is also a court in Texas. They are trying to throw out like 120,000 valid because people use a drive-through drop-in stuff. So I want to make sure my vote is going to be counted, and then I want to make sure it is done in person. I can see it, and then it will be counted,
Yes.
and it will bring a difference.
Well, as you hear from Fish, and that's the beauty of this country, and that's the beauty of democracy. Everybody can choose the best approach for them, so which is great. So, Pascale, I'm going to come to you with the same exact question about the presidential election. Who did you vote for and why?
I vote for Biden.
Right. All right.
There's many reasons why I voted for Biden, because I want someone to protect. It's all about family. Cares about the work class. And I want someone that can protect the work. I'm sorry, because that's my everyday life. Talking about being unionized, because you get more in with not hearing any word.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the most things we don't have. You come and you tell one of the leaders, I can't take grip with what you're saying. The next day, your family gets killed. Here, you get this protected. And that's what Biden is, fighting for. We already have the right to say what we want at work. There's some employees that are already unionized, but it's not everybody. So Biden will protect those jobs. Biden will protect the workforce jobs, families. I got, my heart just pound when you talk about these 500 children with no family. They were engaged, but now I heard Trump on the last debate saying, oh no, they're not anymore in the cage. They're somewhere where they've been taken care of. Can you see your child being alone somewhere without you? You don't even know what's happening to your children, and you're away from them. How can you, as a president, as a leader, think it's okay for a family to be divided? That's why I can't even vote for Trump. I know, and then also there's racial injustice. We see what the police has been doing here. We saw women laying on the floor and say, I can't breathe. And still, we don't even know they bail out this officer. And that made this man die. This is something that needs to change. And Joe Biden will work hard to reunite this and people. As an immigrant, I cannot vote. I cannot be Republican. I'm Democrat. And I think Joe Biden is the right person now for this country. We need him now so much.
Well, do you have a follow-up?
Just one quick two things, if I may. I don't know
please.
how long you're
No, please.
One is just to echo your sentiment there, Pascale. I think that even it's important to understand that even if, as a president, if you disagree with what's going on, whether with the movement, something else, there's still a way to handle that, to be a leader, right? There's a way to handle that passion thing, right? Get those MFs out of there, fire those MFs. Those are some rhetoric that are very harsh, are not necessarily bringing. So that's on your point. And the second thing I wanted to respond to Fish in terms of voting. I wanted to make sure that people get.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of mailing ballot, though, I mean, again, we're talking about the ballot that you mail in. It has to be received by November 3rd here in Colorado. 7. You don't think yours is going to make it there, then you have to go in and actually cast the vote. So I just want to urge people to if you still have mail-in ballots, still time to go ahead and put it in and make sure that you get it in 3rd. Doesn't, please go to the voting center. You can find a list of them on the Secretary of State. Make sure you cast your vote. So
Well said.
One thing, actually, Papa.
Yes.
If they fail to register, and they are not registered, and they can register or they are eligible to vote, they can do? They can go register the same day and vote the same day.
Yes.
So people need to know.
November 3rd.
If they have been procrastinating, like I'll register, I didn't register, I cannot vote. No, you can still register the same day and vote the same day. So they should know.
Well,
And there's one more thing, sorry,
Yes.
Papa, I want to add. So about voting, you just need to make sure you vote your county.
Yes.
Make sure, this is very important. Don't go cast your vote in a different county. If you live in Denver, look on the website and find the Denver County where you can go drop your ballot or vote. And also, if you live in Aurora, just find your county, Arapahoe County. You can go and drop your ballot. Also, there's one thing that came when we were doing, with this phone banking, Joe Biden. Some felons, for example, if you have been arrested, you went to prison and you got, released from prison, don't think you cannot vote. You can still vote. Because we have people that were saying, oh no, I'm a ex-felon, I can't vote. We're like, no, you can still vote.
well,
So go and cast your vote.
if you are out there as an elected official and as a politician and you've been thinking like Africans are not politically involved, you might want to rethink that. And as you can hear from the community members we have here, they are very informed, they're very, very involved and engaging with the African community to ask for their vote is just the right thing to do. And you should know by now that we're not going to just cast our vote because of party affiliation. We'll cast our vote based on the person that's going to represent us the best. Now, we talk about the presidential election. So now I want to open it up and come to you guys. What else in the ballot that's relevant to you? I know we have the Senate rate between former Governor Hickenlooper and Corey Gardner. For some of us that live in District 6, we have Jason Crow and we have Steve House and we have other things. I want to just engage with you. Is there anything else that's more relevant that on the ballot that you would like to talk about? Tayo.
Well, we've already talked about it. I mean, again, the election is more about the people that we're voting. The people matter based on the ideas, the ideals that they. So we elect the people. So the mandate that this is why we're so off. But what's more important as well is issue you get to vote on. As Pascale has been harping on, Proposition 180 is one of the biggest here in Colorado that deals with paid family leave and medical care, medical leave. Please educate yourself. Even if you didn't, once it's been voted in or it doesn't pass or it does pass, no matter what happens, it's going to issue. So you want to know and familiarize yourself. There's a bunch of other tax deductions, tax using, as I stated, state income deductions. To me, that's important. I mean, taxes run everything here in the U.S., right? So I want to make sure that you understand what those mean. Family. So again, I'm more focused on issues as well as people that we're needing to go work and get things done. I'll finish with this because my father, he's Nigerian, he's here, he's voting in Missouri. But he always tells me, and there's an old African proverb, right, that says, you can wear a white shirt, you go into politics, and be some mud on it, okay? So, you got to be careful with people that we send there too. It's not, obviously we send them for the right reason. To get in. It's going to be battle tested, right?
That's
So,
true. You can wear a white shirt, but when you get there, there will be mud on it. So, Fish, I'm going to come to you.
Yeah.
Is there anything else, people that's running a policy on violence that's relevant to you that you would like to speak on?
So let's start with the blue booklet that comes and mailed to each and every one of us into our house. Take a time to understand and see what's out there. Because these are, as I said at the beginning, life principles that you are going to guide yourself. And there are decision makers, legislation, amendment that will affect our everyday life. Starts from school board dimension. We have also Senate or district that for the state. Who are they running? I mean, the people that are running out there. Do we have even people that represent us? Locally, I'm talking about. It could be Aurora, it could be Denver, it could be other districts. Especially our community lives in Aurora most of the time. So they should know the amendment and the people that are running as a state senator and also districts like they have, for example, District 40. Nakida is running for District 40. So people should identify her. She is part of the ALG. She comes here, represents our community. And then we have amendment legislation. Pascale mentioned 118. Deep down, it's the family leave, medical leave, insurance. It's so expensive in this country. That's the complicated aspect of this country. If people don't have insurance, they cannot even go to the hospital to check themselves. They will be dying in their house. If they go into the hospital, they will not get the right treatment. So we have to be, so tax-related amendments in here. We have, and tax on your house, real estate. If you own commercial building, the taxes, it's skyrocketing right now. If you have a commercial building, 10,000, 18,000 in a small building. If there is any tax reduction, state income tax reduction, 116, we should know that is the income that we work, and then if there is any reduction that we need to know. There are so many. Proposition 18 already with this. Proposition 115, abortion. You know, whether we have to terminate abortion in this state or not, it depends on your principle. And there are so many of them which are clearly out citizenship qualification to vote. Those are, which is 76 that we can talk about. And 113, to elect a president by national popular vote. So we have the electoral vote and we have the national vote, popular vote. Usually the Democrats win that because they have California. It's half of the country. And so 270. It depends. We have 9 electoral votes in Colorado. But if you consider popular vote, it depends. So we have to see and understand state income tax rate reduction, 116, as I said before. This affects our everyday life and affects our generation for the future. So we should care. We should take time to understand, to know, to be familiar, and vote according
Yes.
the knowledge that we have. And senators, we have Senator Cory Gardner and Hickenlooper, former governor, running. So choose yourself. And based on your district, as you said, I'm not in District 2. I'm in District 2. I'm in 1. I don't have anybody running for Congress. But there are so many people running for Congress, representing your district and going to Washington and then represent you, like African Leadership Group. We give them a platform. We challenge them. We make sure they are accountable and responsible and they represent us. Not just they show up like every 2 years to get elected and then forget about it.
Yeah.
So we are not into that politics anymore.
Yeah.
We are here.
Good point. This is a very good point as you hear Fish. So Pascale, I know you've been talking about this policy. Is there anything else or you want to go back to putting an emphasis? Is it 116?
180.
118, yes.
You know what? Fish, there's no matter which party we belong to. That's what I'm saying here. Table for your. But the education blue book, even though we have parents that cannot read, we had a privilege for our parents. They give us this privilege here, and maybe was birth here, immigrated here. So now we can get ourselves for our parents that can vote, that can ask, talk about what's important, the healthcare. As you know, you might work for an employer, a system, an organization, but you can afford to pay healthcare for your family. What's important for you? What's your value? So I'm going to go back to Proposition 180 because it allows you to care for your family. So educate them, have them cast their vote. It's not about, those state, representative of given a listen through we often think for these movements. You need to make them accountable, not just to come and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do when I get elected, but they're not their own voice. They are our voice. When they go to the White, when they go to Washington, D.C., they're not representing themselves. If they were representing themselves, they will not come to us as a community, African community or community member. They want to hear our voice. They are there for us. So make sure they're accountable. Make sure that you vote for the right person that stands for your values. We always go back to the values: family, healthcare. What do you want to see change? We work hard here, but we can't even afford to pay our taxes because it's too expensive. What do you want to see in the next 5 years? I'm scared. I don't even know if my children will be able to afford a house.
Yeah,
the way it's going, so it's hard. And also in Proposition 18, there's something that just, be small. I don't know if I have to vote for it because they feel like it's going to affect the business. But just go and read because it can explain to you how you can get, your employee to afford healthcare. So don't be scared. Just go and educate yourself. Small businesses are not leaning toward when we call them, but just educate yourself and you'll see, what matters.
And then on
Well
that
said,
note,
yes.
the small businesses, so this will affect businesses with 10 11 or more employees.
More employees, yes. I
By
was
the
going to
way.
mention 10 or more, 11.
Great. And obviously, as you know, we wish we could have more time because there's so much to talk about. But I'm going to come back here to the panelists for last comment. But a couple of things I want to put out there. I know there's a lot of fear out there. What's going to happen tomorrow? What's going to happen the day after the election? And now we have all the reason in the world to be safe and to be careful. We have the pandemic, and also we don't know what's going to happen. So if you don't have to leave your house, just stay home, go cast your vote, go back home. Or if you have to go back to work, go back to work. Just be careful because there's a lot of unknown factor. And if you don't know exactly what could transpire, the best thing to do is to be careful. So everybody, please, if you haven't mailed your vote, just go peacefully and be very discreet. Go, and as I say, secret, go cast your vote. You don't need to go and comment on stay around, cast your vote and go home. So a couple of things also, the African Leadership Group is putting together a home ownership clinic on November 4th because we believe that the first step of integration is owning a home. So we're going to have experts here from credit repair, from lenders, from realtor. So it's going to be online. And you can get more information by visiting the African Leadership Group website, usalg.org. The African Leadership also is doing a flu shot clinic drive on November 14. As you know, in this pandemic, you always got to be careful, taking the extra precaution to make sure. And Pascale is part of the Health and Wellness Clinic. So we are doing a flu shot drive on November 14. More information also can be seen on the website. And also on November 16, we have our own Tayo that's going to be having his monthly legal clinic. Again, go visit the website, usalg.org, for more information. Now I'm going to come back for last comment. So last word of wisdom as we are getting to the election, wrapping up this conversation to the community. Tayo, I'll start with you.
Well, thank you again, Papa, for inviting us here. It's been fun. And look forward to more of it. Now, first of all, let me correct that the Proposition 118 applies to employers with 10 or more, not 11, at 11. So, yes. As a final word, so it seems like every 4 years we're here. You know, every 4 years we route everybody up and say, go vote, right? And I just want to challenge us, me included, right? Once the vote happens, what then?
Sure.
And there's got to be, part of why ALG exists is to continue the conversation, right? For us to be continually involved in the community even after the vote, so that by the time the next 4 years, 2 years, we influence what's on the ballot, right? We have a say in what amendments are coming in, what propositions, not just voting for the ones that have already been written. So I just want to challenge you not only to vote, challenge us to continue the conversation, not just making it a 4-year or 2-year deal, continue the conversation, getting involved in our politics, our community, issues that impact us.
Thank you. I mean, that's truly a word of wisdom. So, Fish, let me come to you for a last word of wisdom.
Well, I would like to say thank you, Papa. This is a great platform, ALG. I am seeing ALG, the dream, the vision that you had, and then I'm so glad to be part of that dream and vision and seeing it flourishing and creating a platform for our community to bring an impact in the economic, education, social aspect of our community. So I would like to say and challenge the community, you have to know the system. Knowledge is power. Because it says in the Word of God also, when there is lack of knowledge, people perish. Lack of knowledge. You got to know the system. You got to know who is the decision maker in your backyard about decision in the school system, decision in your legal system, decision in your economic system. We shouldn't be complaining and whining and sitting at home doing nothing. We need to be part of the system and know the system. Who is deciding? Why not me? Why not my kids? Why not my community members? To be part of the system, know the system, and then help them to be in power as part of the decision maker, instead of just waiting for somebody to
Decide for us.
This is important, and we have to be consistent. We have to be persistent. It's not going to change overnight, because the price has been paid in this country where people were not treated like human beings. They were slaves. So the African Americans, they have paid the price for us even to get this chance to vote by itself. Women were not allowed to vote in this country. So we have to think deep and know the system and need to be part of the system and be persistent and consistent in that kind of. So I'm glad and thank you for this opportunity.
You're very welcome. Sister Pascale, last word of wisdom.
No, I just want to thank you, Papa, for it. It was a great, very good session that we had for people out there that go and put. But what people need to know, you have to know that your vote counts, your voice. Don't stay home, say, oh no, we already voted. I know maybe Biden will win, Trump will win. You don't need me. I have to go to work. But when you go to work, what's important for you? To be off when you need it, to be off when you're sick, be able to care for your family. So just don't leave this ballot on the table. Say, oh, I couldn't vote, but it's okay. People already voted. No, your voice counts. Your vote. Go out there and vote. And vote for someone that will put you, your values, and your family.
Thank you, Pascale. And thank you so much to our viewers and followers, but also a big shout out and thanks to our technical team, Professor Madiama and Amadou for being with us. And I'm going to leave you with two things. The first one, as you always hear, if you've been around the African Leadership Group, if you're not at the table, you are on the menu. Get involved. And the second thing is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with people. Until next time, have a great day. Thank you.